Let's talk about Teams. So once another session with a bit about news in the latest version for Teams, rooms on Windows.
Yes.
Version 5.
Yes, exactly. So what's new in this one?
Well, we could start with the chat in gallery view.
It's default now.
Yeah. So you don't have anything saying. It's just pushed out. So
Yeah, you can actually.
yeah, you can disable it.
But I've been to meetings now where the chat was there, and it's fantastic. It's
I love it.
me too. It's just really nice when people just have something to display. Right, that's fantastic.
Because a lot of times what happens is that you have one meeting, like the video meeting, and you have a completely different meeting in the chat. And I mean, it's not a new feature, it's just default setup. So I used to tell customers, hey, you can actually change your gallery view with a little chat out. And it's awesome. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but I think that's also because we changed the way that we have meetings.
Yeah.
Do you remember that day where we didn't have chat at all in the Teams rooms?
You were focused on the meeting.
Yeah. But I mean, we had chat in Skype for Business or the Skype room systems. Now we went to Teams rooms. Microsoft removed chat because they thought nobody's really using the chat during meetings.
We did.
But now, since COVID came, we're using the chat quite a lot during the meetings. It might be because you don't want to interrupt. It might just you don't have the option of unmuting or you're being in a noisy environment.
That you can have actually 2-track on a session.
It's an interactive session. It's bringing people into the meeting. So.
And you can follow up with, I know there are recap and we shouldn't talk about all the other stuff, but it's just nice to have the chat afterwards so you can get some points what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's default.
It's not default. Yeah, I think that's it's a good thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
at least some of the people that don't play around with the console, then they at least
that don't
know.
have and responsible for the MTRs that follows and say, hey, we have all those nice functions. He's not aware of what's going on. He don't know the chats there. He don't care about it. He just have that meeting room. So he'll come in and say, hey, nice functionality.
I'm really looking forward to the future where I'll be able to go up and push the links that's pushed in the chat if it's a touch screen.
So there's an active link in the Teams chat. That's a good feedback for you guys at Microsoft.
We expect that in Q4. So
keep working.
And then we have probably most of you all know that we have join with ID. That have been there for Teams for quite some time.
And just so everybody aware of it, it's that. When you have a Teams meeting, you have an ID at the bottom, you go into a room, you type in that ID.
I use it a lot.
Yeah, it's perfect way.
So it could be the case where you're on a different tenant.
Exactly.
Could also be that you don't have booked the meeting in advance, you just want to join the meeting.
I mean, some is more like because of overcrowding of meeting rooms, some saying we cannot book those rooms. You can go into that room and you can type the code and you have it.
As we mentioned now, the QR code is coming, so what they have done now, right, is make it more for Zoom. If you're gonna have a direct guest join, probably.
So that is the new version 5 thing. That you can type in your Zoom code.
Yes, exactly. So you don't need to forward the Zoom invite to the meeting room. Now you can actually just go in and use the Zoom meeting ID, and in that case, it will still do everything in the back end. Open a browser. Join the Zoom meeting. So I think that's quite nice.
That's really nice because, I mean, a lot of times you cannot forward or the meeting was not correctly configured. It will delete the Zoom invite and so on.
Everybody's tried that.
It's really a nice add-on. It sounds like a small thing, but actually I think it's a big thing. It really makes it easier for the end user.
Yeah, and I think it might also be organization where they don't allow external invites. And in that case, you would need a meeting ID to join.
So it's definitely a small thing, but a very important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And one could argue or think about, and I mean, this is not something we know, but Zoom is the first one. All the other direct guest join partners, maybe they are working on the same way. That would make sense.
Everybody has an ID today.
So
one of the other meetings, right? So there will be an ID in the bottom of the invite. So.
It could be something that we'll probably see in 5.1 that we support.
That could be interesting. I mean, at least from my point, it would be nice that we have the same functionality across all direct guest joins, across Windows and Android. I know we can't be fully.
Now, welcome to the dream world. Everything is the same. We just type in a code, and But I totally agree. Direct guest join should be the same. It should be the same for users because the users don't know if it's a Zoom meeting, do this, type this in. If it's an 8x8 or something like that, do that. So
Exactly. And now we talk about code. There was also a new thing to Windows now coming. It have been there for Android for some times, but now it's actually optional to say if you don't want people to go in and join your meeting, you can now also add the code to the meeting. So I think that's quite nice.
I think it's a nice feature because I many times wondered about why can everybody just press join the meeting, right? So if the meeting rooms is available, they can actually join my meeting, which is afterwards, and maybe I've booked the meeting room, I'm not going there, or
forgot about it, and don't have a schedule panel that are deleting the meeting, so stand for 2 hours in an empty room, Or you have public spaces. Let's say you have a building where the ground floor and first floor, it's public open.
But I'm not been using the code that much. I know when I'm typing in the meeting ID, normally if I want to join the meeting, I need to press the passcode. Can I set my own passcode for my own meetings, or is it just a random?
It's a random code. Yeah.
Because I could see that, let's say you at a certain floor and you need to share the same meeting room, you could have your own passcode for your own meetings.
Yeah, but it's a passcodes per meeting that works for everybody that are joining into that meeting. So I mean, I follow you. I mean, we
But then I could just scan the QR code, right?
And there's so many options now, and again, we should do the video 15 ways of joining a Teams meeting.
Gonna do that. So we can do the 15 ways of joining now, and then in 2 months' times it's 25 ways of joining. No, I think I've actually had this request for I think around 2 years ago from a high security customer. Say we want the Teams rooms, but we don't want people to be able to join, and I was like, but why? But I kind of understand if it's a high security company, then it makes sense that they don't want anyone to be able to join that meeting unless they're invited. But I think and in that time there wasn't that option.
And we still have that you're waiting in the lobby and so on. You can set that only generates. So it's not like we had a pure open.
No.
I mean, but it's just help. It makes it easier and it makes it more user friendly.
But it might be even within a high security company that they would just enter because they were internally, and they didn't want that to be possible to actually someone else to join the meeting.
We all know about in the COVID time where people were passing along these meeting invites and somebody crashed the meetings, right? This is just something that would help people not crashing the meeting from a meeting room, right? So it's maybe you invited the wrong meeting room and you forget about it. So you need to have the passcode before you can join. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's quite nice.
It's a really nice functionality, and it's been for Android. I don't know how long, but it's been there for
can't remember how long. A few months, I would say.
So a function that was on Android before Windows.
Once again.
Here we go. So
I think it's quite nice. And talking about the security of a meeting, you can still do that you can log a meeting. So that's not part of the code that you can do, but when you are in the meeting and you don't want anybody to interrupt, you can still lock the meeting so nobody can access that meeting.
Of course, but
it's the teacher that are locking the door. You're too late.
But I don't see many people doing it still. So.
No.
Probably because they don't know it's there.
Again,
so that's back to the adoption of,
and then of course uses, because I mean those high-level security meetings are not the everyday meeting. No, but it's still something that we need to be able to help customers.
And for instance, if you put on something like this, you also need to take care of the adoption. Because people will just be frightened what's happening here. But you will force them to use the QR code, because the QR code they will definitely understand, so they will move the meeting to that one.
So the only thing that I would love to change a bit is that when you set it up for a system, it's there all the time. I would love to be able to have it as part of the meeting options or something like that.
This meeting require a PIN code for accessing, and also for the client and so on. So you make it.
But I understand that for the multi-tenant house, you would love the meeting room to have the PIN code on.
Yeah, maybe, but
because it's lower secure, but it will be a nice option to have that you could force PIN code.
Exactly. So it would be open for regular meetings. They could join, but when I'm in my high security meeting, which I'm never, but then it would make sense that I could force the meeting room to provide a PIN code.
One could go the next step. You need some MFA, authenticate yourself before you go into the meeting. Well, I mean, if we are talking about higher security meetings, so
definitely,
even if you are trying to join in from a meeting room, you need to verify yourself that way. So
and the next thing then is how do you make sure it's not a deep fake that joins? So you need to verify that you are actually the person. That will also be interesting.
I'm a human, not a robot, right? So
push all the pictures with the lights. No, but I think there's a lot of great stuff coming out, especially on the latest version, and I would say in general, with the April version of both Android and Windows, we got a lot of new great features to the Teams.
When will you guys think about, when will we see the next big update like this one for the Teams room? Because Microsoft, they are doing so many things in the background here, and some of it I hadn't thought about, but they put it on, and I was just like, wow, they came with this. This is the really major update that benefits and helping.
The next major one will be some of the things we talked about, Enterprise Connect, like use your PCs that needs to work together, but that's a backend. Multi-stream will be the one that heavily comes up. I think those will be, and don't misunderstand me, but there'll be minor things compared to that they're trying to build more AI, like Copilot for meeting rooms, Copilot for whiteboard, Copilot for, I mean, I think that would be the major one. And
so version 6 next year, and in between just smaller minor updates.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure that version 6 will come next year.
No.
But in the future, I don't.
I guess that will not happen a lot after this major update. And this major update is basically because they moved to the new Teams application.
Yes.
That have helped a lot with all of these new functionalities. I think that the next update will be after summer timeframe, so September-ish. There'll be new stuff coming out.
And then probably supporting something like multi-stream without promising anything end of summer. Or anything.
No, but
you promised it here, so it's
going to
happen.
Dear Microsoft.
Please help me. Code it.
Dear Microsoft support, Carsten said that it would be.
No, but totally follow. I mean, this is a major upgrade. New client, a lot of nice functionality.
Really nice.
Especially user-friendly. Normally we talk about something that's not that user-friendly as this one is. I mean, version 5 is actually a heavy lift up for usability. I mean, it is.
Indeed,
definitely.
Indeed.
So,
A lot of great stuff, but this was, with the time remaining, this was the end of the sessions around new stuff for Microsoft Teams Rooms. Version 5, especially around the Windows-based update. Thanks a lot for watching. See you out there. Bye.